The F1 movie nominations just dropped. 6 teams have revealed their new looks. We've made some interesting F1 New Year's resolutions. Let's get into it. The boys are back in town, coming hot with an episode 6. I'm actually really excited for this episode for a myriad of reasons. But reason number 1, and I think the timing is appropriate. Alex, for whatever reason, you're the only joker on the planet who watches F1 who decided to just not watch the F1 movie right away. You gave it a good chunk of time. I watched it, in all fairness, I think I watched it after like maybe a month or 2 months after it came out because I didn't want to go to the theaters and I will say there's free ways for me to watch stuff. And I was waiting for that to be accessible before I watched the movie, which is so stupid. I should have just watched it in theaters. But you just recently watched it. And I think the timing is so incredibly appropriate simply for the fact that the F1 movie is now up for 4 awards for the Academy Awards Oscar nominations. Best Picture, which I'm okay. Best Film Editing, Best Sound, and Best Visual Effects. But Alex, I think it's appropriate this time. Let's discuss thoughts and feelings on the movie overall. And since you're late to the game, I want to hear from you first.
Sure, right? Like if you want nominations of any kind in terms of any cinematographic production, why don't you just bring Hans Zimmer in? You're guaranteed to get some sort of award or nomination. But let's look at this movie and let's look at the nominations of what they stand for, right? Best Picture, sound, visual effects, and editing. So right, this basically confirms what I will now reiterate. This is an audiovisual flex from Apple. It's truly an F1 simulation second, right? We talked about the fact that, like, I mean, on a personal level, I do tend to kind of go the other way when everybody's going one route, one way. Everybody's like,
amen,
F1, you got, I just for the sake of doing the contrary, I'll just go the other way around. And I just wanted to give it some time, kind of convince myself. I mean, I needed to watch this film. And it doubled down. I mean, I got exactly what I knew. A aged broadcast layer on the movie, the realism selectively applied. It was driver portrayal leaning into more driver, like classic driver, not F1 driver. The paddock looks perfect all the time. The strategy's written like a freaking screenplay where, the hero buildup is made. Like, there's so many things that could have been done to get this movie a little bit more appealing to the purist, to the purist fan, to the actual F1 fanatic, and still get that objective across, which is get more people appealing into the sport, right? I'm happy for Lewis and all the money he made. I think it's rumored that he made over $50 million. Brad Pitt is once again starring in a global megalodon. So it's like World War Z, Glorious Bastards. Like, I mean, I think that he's got to be in like top 5 right now. Yeah. JW, you probably know, but he's got to be up there.
One of the only ones that still actually has star power in terms of actors. So where you'll go see him in any movie he's in, which most actors don't have that anymore.
Besides Scarlett Johansson, which is the #1 grossing with Jurassic World and Avengers and all that. But
I meant new actors. Like if you're Sydney Sweeney, it doesn't matter what you bring to the table. People aren't going to come to see you just for you, except you would. Buddy, I know you would, but you're the only one. And listen,
It was a terrible example. That was a terrible example.
But I'm only going to say this. It's only because it's you and you're going to be in a trench coat in the back with no underwear on. Let's be honest.
Buddy, I just raw dogged a flight from Europe 10 hours, and you know what I did?
Watched every single
Sydney Sweeney, every single one, dude. Every single one. My neighbors were incredibly uncomfortable.
Alex is next to some housewife trying to see a Sydney Sweeney tit in Euphoria, trying to block out the view.
Oh, she shows one in the new one with Jude Law and I'm sure you did.
I was in the theaters. I watched the one, the housemaid, whatever.
That was good. Eden is actually a really good plot.
Yeah, it is. I watched that on a flight recently, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I don't want to get too into it. I think I think it's good for the culture, but I think they dropped the ball, man. I think they dropped the ball.
I think, to me, it seemed like there was almost no consideration of constructing a movie for the purist. It almost seems
Correct.
like the complete play was, how do we get more eyeballs into F1, specifically as everything was transitioning over to Apple TV? It just seemed to me that the consideration was never like, let's give a great movie for the purist. Let's write something that is so true to F1.
Yeah.
It was exaggerated, of course, exaggerated. There was all the little, like, there's subtle little nuances as far as like them coming off a race and, keeping the gloves on, not taking gloves, like the subtle things.
Exactly.
The way that he talked, he said, instead of saying like corner or turn, I forget what word they used in the script, which was like counter to what they would have used that you would normally use in terms of terminology in F1. So there was a lot of those little subtle things. I think the other thing too that seemed to be like just disjointed as part of the movie is like the love story aspect of it. It seemed like it was almost like that part of it was forced. And you kind of go like, hey, you didn't have to force that in there. Like the movie was going to be wildly entertaining regardless. And that's what I will say. I think the movie was incredibly entertaining. I'm not saying that from a script perspective, it was a great movie, but there was just so many things that one could have been left out, which would have been just fine and appealing for the movie. And I think I agree with you that there should have been so much more added in for the folks that are purists of the sport, who have been around the sport for a long time, to really grasp onto and go, oh, I like what they did there because that's kind of representative of X, Y, or Z. Things that if you're a fan, you know and understand, but like you said, wouldn't be something that would be a turnoff for anybody that's seeking to get into the sport via the movie.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It could have been a better blend.
Like just to add a final thought right here before JW gets his thoughts. Like, look, I did mention Driven, right? 2001 release, over 25 years ago. It was objectively full of nonsense, right? Like taking these cars, racing it down the street, all these little scenes, but it was grittier. It was physical. It was kind of like, it felt that it was kind of ridiculous in so many different ways, but at the same time, it felt more raw and real and kind of cool. Right. You know what I'm saying? Sly just going around the racetracks and picking up the nickels or the coins with his tires, with the flat tires. Yeah. And then it's like cool things like the drama, like the drama for the chick that both drivers were kind of like, she was hooking up with both of them. That felt natural, right? Like that romance felt natural in the plot, kind of to add to what you were just saying right now. They still had, car flips and gun busting to flames, and they had a little bit of everything that was kind of gritty and natural versus this, I mean, incredibly high budgeted movie has got this Joshua Pierce kind of like very cornily and very like, I think it was such a gimmick the way he was like, gave orders in the radio, and kind of like that radio engagement, radio communications is so far off of what everybody has access to know and understand. Like there's so much radio content out there that they could have just mimicked some of that.
You could have just mimicked normal radio. Yeah, agreed.
Just mimic some normal radio instead of, I'm going in right now. Like that's not how you do it. You people don't sound like that when they're going 300 miles an hour, dude. You know?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I agree. The subtleties of it, for sure. I think a lot was missed. Or
not
only missed, but a lot of things unnaturally forced, for sure. JW?
Yeah, I have very mixed opinions about the movie. First, I'm going to say from an entertainment perspective, I think it got the job done. I think it's very entertaining. It's more entertaining than what I thought it would be. However, so from a entertainment perspective, yes, 10 out of 10. But as a purist, I hated it. And this is definitely not a movie I would show someone who isn't into F1 to get them into F1. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm sorry, there's so many things that are not left explained. Like if you notice throughout the movie, Martin Brundle and David Croft, they explain certain things as the races are going on in the film, but there's still so much nuance in the sport that was left unexplained. So that in itself, like for example, I took my mom to watch the movie. She had so many questions when we were done watching it. And that's And then and to be fair, like she sat down with me and watched races before. So in that sense, there's no way I'm showing this movie to someone to get them into F1. Now, I think Alex hit it right on the head. You bring Hans Zimmer in, you're gonna get some nominations. Easy. Like that's just bound to happen.
Of
I
course.
think every single nomination it got was on the money except for Best
Best
Picture.
movie. Yep.
I'm
Agreed.
sorry. Like, listen, I'm a massive F1 fan, and it is awesome to see for the sport to see it nominated for Best Picture. You can't take that away, but I don't think it deserved it. I think there's multiple other movies that deserve to be there, like The Smashing Machine, for example. Like
Yep.
to me, that movie not getting nominations is wild.
Yep.
But it's funny because I watched it the weekend it came out because it came out on a race weekend. So I was like, oh, I'm going to make this a doubleheader weekend. I'm going to go watch the movie and then I'm going to watch the Austrian Grand Prix. But from also, there are a lot of similarities between real life and the movie. Like, for example, Joshua Pierce's crash in Monza, that's based on an F3 crash. Like, it's eerily similar. And I've seen the video of how they shot it, and it is really incredible, like, how technology has made these movies able to look the way they do now. But just to close out my opinion, from an entertainment perspective, I thought it was great, but as a purist, I hated it.
Yeah, I think if I was going to get someone into F1 and I had to pick a movie, I'd probably pick Rush. I think that would be the one where I would say like, hey, this because it is like when you create something like the F1 movie, you're creating it as complete fiction. Obviously, there's real elements to it, but in terms of the actual writing, is complete fiction. You know, the battle between James Hunt and Niki Lauda was not fiction, although dramatized for sure. It's identified as a real element and a real crucial point in F1 during that time period. And I'm like, if someone wants to learn and actually wants to be entertained, like I'm giving them Rush. I'm not giving them the
100%.
F1 movie. For the pure entertainment perspective, yeah, it was like I'm gonna watch anything Brad Pitt is in, but also like the unrealistic aspect of a 57-year-old driving an F1 car to that degree it's not realistic. I mean,
It's
I feel
wild, bro.
I feel like it was like it's like, yeah, like it's Fernando Alonso plus 10 years. It's not realistic at all.
But to be fair, you could totally see Fernando driving till he's 50-something.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to add. And also, to be honest, I think Brad Pitt is actually not 50. I think he's 60 something too, 61 or 2 or whatever it is. Like you could argue that dude still looks 46. Like
100%.
Like,
He's got his kids' blood in him. That's what
exactly.
He's getting transfusions every 30 minutes. Just taking the souls from 3-year-olds and embedding them in his body.
I think we're ready to, for our New Year's I mean, granted, like a full month later, but I think we're ready for New Year's resolution.
New Year's
resolutions.
It's
good. It's good.
I think it's good. It's still January. We're still on top of it.
Yeah.
Barcelona testing is this week. So I think it's perfectly fitting.
Yeah, no, it's fitting. We can definitely get into that, and I'll let you, JW, go first.
So I think my resolution is going to kind of come as a shock to you guys because Alex knows me to be the guy that won't miss a practice session, will watch every single driver's and team principal press conference, just enthralled into the sport. But my resolution for F1 this year is trying to be a little more present outside of the sport. Cause like whenever it's a race weekend, you won't find me anywhere else aside from glued to my couch.
Mhm.
And that's something that I think it's going to add a lot more excitement to F1 weekends for me. But on a personal note, that's my resolution. Like try to not be hard on myself if I miss a practice session or if I miss a whole Friday because I have other stuff going on. For the sport itself, I would love to see more. I think with the regulations coming in, the cars being slightly smaller, and mine's very specific, but I would love a more entertaining Monaco Grand Prix. Like that's what I'm really hoping for because the cars are a bit smaller. So in theory, some overtakes should be possible, but I don't think that's really like, I think I'm being very optimistic here because I think it's a track problem, not just a car size
Dude,
problem.
I think
So,
people are way too hard on Monaco. Like
yeah,
it's the coolest freaking venue, and like there's been races over the last 10 years that have been exciting, and a lot
exactly.
of them. Qualifying is sick.
Qualifying's
Crashes are
the best part.
freaking
Qualifying is
sick.
wild.
Like
That's-
people are like, Monaco's so boring. No, it's freaking not, dude. It's so freaking cool. Like go back to Danny Rick's win. Like that dude had nothing to win with at the for the last 20 laps, 15 laps. I'm blanking out, but he had to play defense for a solid 15 laps.
Oh, he played defense for most of the race. He lost, I think, a gear or a lot of power from his engine.
Yeah.
And like lap 8.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, lap 8. Right. True. Perfect.
So-
there you go. That was
so
an
I think-
insane race.
I
Yeah.
think one of the things that will help, obviously, is where's Monaco on the schedule this year? It's still fairly early on, right?
it's
I think
around
it's
the
like
time
7th
of
or 8th.
Yeah, it's around the time of it's in between like that Barcelona and Canada
Okay.
leg of the weekend.
fairly
of the
early on.
season.
So what I'm thinking is with new regulation set, number one, that shakes some things up. Smaller, more nimble cars, which I think will help in terms of the track dynamics. And then
Yeah.
two, just like new power units, like you may see just a complete shakeup, and you'll likely see that at all races, but that may make the Monaco Grand Prix just a tiny bit more exciting. Here's the thing. I love qualifying in Monaco. That's one of the funnest things to watch.
Yeah.
The race last year was a bit difficult just in terms of more of the midfield battles because people were just stuck behind everybody else. And no matter what kind of strategy dynamic you put into place, it's really difficult to make your way through these massive, trains and slowdowns in the midfield. I think a lot of that could be a race this year, which would be fun to see. I'm in agreement. Like, I don't really knock. I think, honestly, in terms of like road courses and street courses, there's worse than Monaco, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
that's not that. I know people like, I think the biggest complaining that you get is because Monaco is just held in such high regard that people look at the race itself and they go, boring. So you create that association, but there's street courses that are worse than Monaco. Like, I think Baku in the last few years, and to me, has been much more boring than some of the Monaco Grand Prix, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Now, what is your New Year's resolution, Cory?
My New Year's, I actually switched it up. So and I'm still going to do a little bit of this and get more into the technical dynamic of F1.
Mhm.
Like JW, I spend a good chunk of my weekend kind of assessing and going through everything. I go through feeder series, F1 Academy. I'll watch all the races. And I really want to get more into the technical aspects, like tire degradation from the outside and the inside from the heat. And like just understanding how that plays in a little bit more. Like, okay, the suspension adjustments, and when you get oversteer and understeer, how are drivers expected to react through certain courses? I really wanted to get a good understanding of that, but I kind of switched mine in terms of what I actually wanted to achieve for myself. The technical knowledge, yes, I'm going to do those things, but really this year, like, I want to put out more content. Like, more content. I've got a meme page, on Instagram, which I love doing. I love doing that, but it's kind of mindless. Like, I want to do more content like this. So really driving this podcast is number one, doing some more independent content, just like small YouTube videos that are just going over certain things, and maybe like reaction videos to certain things like the Liveries.
Podium
et cetera.
Sessions page 2.
Podium Sessions page 2. There you go. I love it. Like, I want to do more of the driving the content because I think even between the three of us, we have a lot to say. There's a lot of experience. There's good chemistry. Like, I want to put out more of that stuff. I don't want it just to be like an isolating conversation, which I'm used to having about F1, where I'm like, God, I wish I could just put this out there in the ether. Like, I actually want to put it out there in the ether. Like, I want to get it out there and broadcast it, get people's opinions, drive feedback, start the conversation, create the online community that is kind of like centric to the things that I love, that we love. So that's my New Year's, just more content, get it out there, experiment with it, see what's fun, what's not fun, what people like, what they don't like.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think mine is very close to yours. That one hit home. Like last year, I actually had a resolution. It was just very like ambiguous. I was like, I need to commit to, no matter what I'm doing, no matter if I'm traveling, no matter if I party till 3 a.m., I will wake up and I will, even if it's 2-3 hours later, I will avoid checking my messages, like typical fashion that everybody does. But before, I would just not care that much. Now that I'm so enthralled back into the sport, as I did back in the day, just with different technology, I literally just, no matter what I'm doing, where I'm at, I watched every single qualifying and qualifying sessions and races. I still do not care for practices. I just, over time, I've realized there is no direct correlation whatsoever from practice to qualifying to race. There's a mild connection between, cars not performing or having, something going on that won't translate to the qualifying and races. But last year I did really good. This year I do want to be more more connected to the technicality of the sport, right? Like I want to, as you were saying, Cory, we shared this before, it's kind of the same thing. Like I want to understand a little bit more the technical aspects of these cars and what makes them do what they do. Besides that, I think honestly, this might sound a little gimmicky, but I think it's going to be sticking to podium sessions, because these conversations that we had, I normally have them in my head. I wish, as you were saying, like I wish I could have and this is like, I don't have time for another hobby. Like I cannot add more races, different sports, different racing sports. Like don't talk to me about Formula E or Formula 3 or Formula 2. I don't have time for that.
Not even NASCAR?
Not even NASCARs. No, this is like borderline the limit. And I think the excuse to, being here every week is like such a cool thing, because we get to discuss all these things that we normally would keep to ourselves, amongst ourselves, or just text to each other, or every now and then when I, meet up with JW and watch the races together, that's cool. But we're not doing this for an audience. It kind of like, to me, it's a compromise to like show up, and it kind of, I think it challenges all of us to be more cohesive and kind of fluent with the sport, right? Like, I think this is awesome. So I think that my biggest thing is definitely keep podium sessions going. We'll probably create a page, like, who knows if it makes sense to like evolve our 3-point interaction into kind of a blog. Maybe we have a website where everybody, chimes in and gives give their thoughts on what we need to discuss, or maybe bring in different guests and stuff like that. So I think it's awesome. We're not doing this for money. We're not doing this for anything else other than our obligation to meet up and discuss these things that we like.
Yeah, definitely not for the money. I've been independently wealthy my whole life, so I don't do anything for money. I've got more money than I know what to do with.
Yeah, my trust fund runs deep, so it's all good.
All right, is this a good time to transition into some livery reveals? Because we have
Yes.
One thing I will say between the three of us, because I've gone hard in the paint as far as livery reveals, and I'm getting some backlash, specifically from Ferrari fans on all socials. But between the three of us, we haven't discussed it really at all.
No,
like,
and
nothing.
I think it's important to say that I have. It's been tough, especially with you, Cory. But it's been freaking tough. But I've abstained from.
You've not said. I've been baiting you,
dude. I've seen your stuff. And I'm like, nope. I didn't see it. I am incredible. I've glimpsed, right? I've gotten like a couple glimpses, but I really haven't. I haven't even noticed.
I tried baiting you on the very first one because I tagged you in it, and I saw you liked it and you wouldn't comment. I was like, oh, he's waiting. He wants to have this discussion.
I just wanted you to acknowledge that I saw the tag, but I'm not seeing I'm not getting into it. So that being said, let's do it.
I would say good for you for
we're gonna rank 1 through 10, and then we're gonna have just basic comments. Okay, that's those.
Yep, there we go. So and I really kind of do this in order from when they were released. So first one, of course, is Racing Bulls V-Carb, whatever the hell we want to call it, Team 2. What do you guys think of the new livery reveal on the V-Carb Cash App Racing Bulls second team?
Since you're introducing, I would do you go first, JW goes second, and I go third. That way we keep a flow.
I really like the release in 2025. I also like the elements of white. I like white on cars. I like the contrast. I think they didn't do a whole lot different than what they did in 2025. And for me, that's just fine. I think that's just great. I think it looks good. I like the livery. I've always really liked the livery. I love last year's. And to me, this is just, it's more of the same. And I'm totally good with that. And if I were to rank it, I would say a solid 8 out of 10. I think it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, I have to second absolutely everything Cory said. I'm gonna give this a solid 8 out of 10. I think the white elements on the car are great. I see different hues of blue on it too, which I think is kind of cool. Because usually they play a lot with like the neon green and the light blue, and I think this was really cool. I love the driver lineup. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. I honestly, the first time I saw this, and I did see this one. This one I did see. This one and the Red Bull. I got like huge 2014 RB10 Vettel livery, like
Yep.
same vibes, giving Vettel, Sebastian Vettel 2014. Kind of same, but different, a little bit more white. I think it looks retro, and I dig it. I think a lot of teams are going to go for that like retro vibe because just like tires are a little bit different. Yeah, 8 out of 10, solid.
So I like it. I thought you were going to be the one to like give it massive amounts of shit, so I'm glad you didn't.
No.
All right, here we go. Livery number 2, the Red Bull. Now, here's the thing. So I will start with this. When this livery came out, it was like, it was almost disruptive, right? It was like everybody was talking about it. I will say there wasn't as many mixed feelings as far as this release as there were for subsequent other releases, which we'll get into. For me, this was the exact direction Red Bull should have gone with the livery, because this screams to me that same 2014 variable where they go back to the gloss.
Yeah.
And listen, the matte was fine. Dude, I love a good gloss. And the way, and I can't really, I wonder, I don't know how much I can zoom in on this, but if you look at the particulars, like even on the side pod, and you look at the way that the colors transition and transform, like, and almost like a wave pattern in the blue, it looks so freaking good. I was like, if this car never wins a race, it's gonna look so good on track. I love the Red Bull. I thought it was good. I'm going, if I got to give it a number, I got to give it 10 out of 10. Like, this was just so freaking good from Red Bull.
I don't think we have to get into this unless JW has a different
No.
opinion.
It's a chef's kiss, dude. I thought this
100%.
was beautifully done. A 10 out of 10 for me.
My brother did send it to me, and he sent the previous, right, the matte, and he tells me same, the James Franco, same, but different.
Yeah,
and I was
love
like,
that.
yeah, but it makes all the freaking difference in the world. If it ain't
100%.
broke, don't necessarily change it. Fix it a little bit, but if it ain't broke, you can kind of enhance it. Don't fix it.
Right.
So think about like how iPhone releases the same exact phone with minor, nuances every year. Still the best performing freaking phone on the planet. Why change it much, right?
Yeah, I honestly, going from matte to gloss, I was like, they nailed it. They nailed it. They didn't have to overthink it.
Nailed it.
Didn't have to overthink it. Just nailed it. All right, I think we're getting into. Oh, there she is. There's Alex's Audi. So I'll start with my feelings. I dogged this one when it first came out, and it's partly because I always have high hopes for Audi. I love Audi cars. I love the design of Audis. I love the engineering of Audis. I've never owned one, but I've always wanted to buy one. Like, it's on my list. And so I had high hopes, even though we saw the preview of this. Like, the concept looked very similar, but I thought there was going to be more enhancements. I just think the lack of blend from the silver to the orange, it just seems disjointed and disconnected. But also, too, after I've reviewed it and looked at it a little bit more, the one thing that I will say, which I'm kind of hopeful that it does, is that once more sponsorships are added to the car, maybe that'll help blend it a little bit more, and maybe that's wishful thinking, but I just feel like it's, I don't know, I don't like it. And I don't know if it's the silver, the gray, and the way that it blends, but it just, to me, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. I have
our first little
lot
disagreement there.
I have a lot of comments about this. First of all, welcome back to the 2010 McLaren MP4 25A, gentlemen.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah, we've all said that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think, listen, I think the livery is okay. Honestly, and I have to be honest here. The rendering makes it look more orange than it actually is.
It's red, right?
It's red. But I think, to be honest, what I loved about Audi was not the livery, but the merch. And I'll tell you really quickly why. They were able to get every single sponsor to do their logo in the same exact color, which is insanely difficult to do. If
Yeah.
you know marketing, you know how hard that is.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep it at there. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I actually gave a rating on this, but if I had to give one, I think when I broadcasted this out on Instagram, I think I gave it a 3 out of 10 if
Oof.
memory serves. So
Rough.
yeah, not a huge fan. AB, what do you think?
Yeah. Nostalgia, man. It's giving Montoya, it's giving Kimi, McLaren.
But it's not McLaren.
It doesn't matter.
That's my argument. Is it's not McLaren.
It doesn't matter. If you think Audi, you think like silver titanium, freaking spaceship, which is I think they nailed it. I think they honestly nailed it, and I think at the end of the day, I think they could have had a little bit more wiggle room to play with, as you mentioned, with more sponsors. Like when you're handed lemons, you make lemonade, you don't make apple juice. So they were given lemons, right? You have a handful of sponsors. You don't have established team sponsors where you can play around with a lot more logos and stuff, and then at the same time complement that with different colorways. I think they went very simplistic. I think they're trying to be understating. They don't want to come here and be too loud because they don't want to be ridiculized. I think they want to be humble. I think they want to be cool. They want to be nimble with their approach, and I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. There's room for
Very
improvement.
contrasting.
I think there's room for improvement. I think with some sponsors and as the team progresses throughout the year, I think the very subtle initial approach will be enhanced, and I could very see myself giving it an 8.59 towards the end of the season with subtle changes.
Okay. That's fair. And one of the things that I've prefaced, even when I come out with comments about the cars, is that we're seeing them in the setting. We're seeing them in a certain setting, right? When they're being revealed. I'm like, what's really going to determine how well the car looks for me is when it's racing on track with other cars.
100% agreed.
So, and I gave some room for Audi for me to actually say and experience that, because I was like, I'm going to hold off now because I'm seeing it in a marketing light. I'm seeing it with, enhanced cameras and fanfare. I was like, I want to see it when it's on the grid with all the other cars, and then I'll make a more solid determination of how much I like it. Because under the sun, baby, it could look awesome. Under the night lights, racing around the track could look fucking sweet as shit. But right now, I'm not as in favor. I had higher expectations. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Let's see what we got next. Oh, look at that little baby. Look at that sweet baby. The new Mercedes, what is this? The W17. So this is one that I gave high marks to. And I gave high marks to Mercedes for a few reasons. One, there isn't as much change as people were like murmuring on about. It really, from the biggest change, and I think what most people noticed, was on the side pod you see the gills, right? And you see the racing line from the gray that goes up over the gills into the side pod. That was like the biggest change, and I think that looks slick. I actually really like that just because of the curvature of the car. I think it looks really natural. When we talk about Mercedes being the silver arrow, it makes sense. I also suggested, and I'm going to stay with this, from a color palette perspective, it's really kind of hard to up the paint on a Mercedes, because those are three colors that I absolutely think work so well together, and they have for such a long time in different schemes that you couldn't really mess it up. A lot of people are like, well, what about the four colors of Microsoft? I'm like, we're going to complain about that on this car? Come on. I feel like there wasn't enough to complain about in this car, and people were really kind of stretching. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks slick. I think it looks aggressive. I can't wait to see it on track. And I think I gave it an 8 out of 10, or maybe a 9 out of 10.
I respect that, and I agree with it too. First and foremost, the gills, like the gill looking like stripes. At first, when I saw the car for the first time, I thought it was a nod to Adidas, but it's actually a nod to the AMG logo, which I think is very cool. From the front, if you're looking at it from the front, it's exactly the same as last year's car. But Alex mentioned this earlier. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think this car looks amazing. I think The way the logos play with the new design, I think is great. I think the coolest thing to me is the side pods with the four AMG lines. So I give this a 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this livery.
Love it. Alex is going to come in completely opposite. Here we go.
I wouldn't say completely opposite, but again, let's take your points, right? As JW just mentioned, I thought they secured a solid Adidas sponsorship.
100%.
But I don't think that's the case. I think you just mentioned this is not to the AMG logo. So I want to kind of first understand if this is an actual nod to the AMG logo or if it's kind of hinting that they have secured a partnership with Adidas.
Couldn't it be both?
I'm not sure. If it's both, it's brilliant, and that's why I won't use this as a particular judgment for my criteria, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yes, same. I won't give it too much credit because it was kind of similar to the 25 car. What I would have personally loved to see is go a little bit more titanium heavy in terms of color, right? Like give it like a heavy metal look rather than like a dark spaceship look. That's the direction that I would have taken. Imagine, I don't know if you remember, I think Lewis rocked this like in 16 or 17 where he had like a titanium color base with like the silver arrows were actually like more like black rather than silver. Contrasting. I like that look a lot more. Given the fact that they are likely to be in the front of the pack, other than other teams will be, I would have taken this opportunity to flex with a little bit more of a flamboyant take on a very neutral looking car. That's why I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's not a bad thing. It was already cool. Did they improve it? I don't think they improved it. That's why I would just shave a point off of where they were last year.
That's fair. And Alex, if I were to say, if on the rear wing, if they were to put, let's say they scripted the rear wing and it said like, how does my dust taste? Yeah. Would that have given you one more point?
Yeah, for sure.
Would that have been flamboyant enough? I think that'd be hilarious if they did some sort of bumper sticker dialogue on the back of their wing.
So every time need to start doing that.
Yep.
I think I would screw the sponsorship on the rear wing. Just make just put some like a funny bumper sticker saying 100%. I think it would be fun.
Like
all right, moving
plate.
on. I think that would be hilarious. All right, here we go. Here's what I'll say about the Ferrari livery. And what is this? The SF26, correct? I have a 6-minute video that I post on YouTube if you want to get all my thoughts and feelings out there. What I will stick with for this particular segment is that I think the bottom half of the car where the black meets the red looks amazing. I think that is such cool classic Ferrari. I like a lot of people don't like the transition into the white when you're looking at things from the side and from the top where the cockpit's at. I know the HP logo was pretty contentious for people as far as it being bright blue and there in the middle. I'm less like the HP logo and the white and more, why are there so many HP logos across the entire car? There's so many. I think there's like 7 in total. So I'm like, could we have just toned down the HP logo a little bit?
What about unit credit? Unit credit must be shelling out a lot of money, dude.
Yeah. Well, Zen's on there twice, baby. Our Zen's on there 3 times, and I love that.
Yeah.
I said that I was like, I love that Zen's on there 3 times. I think that's dope as but I don't like what I think was not as well thought out transition into the white, although I know a lot of people are like, well, look at what they did back in the 70s. I get it. I saw Niki Lauda's car. I'm not stupid. I know what it looks like, and I remember when the title sponsor was Marlboro, and they did the same thing in highlighting the black Marlboro logo inside the white to make it pop. I get it. It's just not for me. I just don't like it. Honestly, I think there could have been a better blend. Again, bottom half of the car, I think looks amazing. The black intermixed with the red. And a lot of people were kind of
insane.
A lot of people were dogging this color red. And I'm like, this flashy red is awesome. And I didn't give the flashy red enough credit. I like that really awesome glossy cherry red. I just don't like the white with it. That's my opinion.
Okay. I'm going to start with the positives, which there's only one, the flashy red. I think finally they realized that darker hue of red is horrible, especially for a brand like Ferrari.
Sorry, JW. What was your rating, Cory?
Oh, my rating on this was a 3 out of 10. Actually, I think I gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
Oh, you just wait till mine, Alex. So yeah, I think the only good thing about this car is the flashy red. Honestly, I think from what I can see in this picture, I could see 4 HP logos, and I believe there's 5. Um, I'm sorry, they just literally grabbed the feedback that they got from fans about them liking the Monza livery from last year, and they're like, let's just do that. Yeah.
Let's throw more blue on it.
Yeah.
Well, there's the IBM, by the way, the rear wing. There's the IBM blue on the rear wing, and there's 7 HP logos. We're not seeing
there you
ones
go.
on their side.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a total of 7.
Exactly. So, no, I think this was, putting it very honestly, guys, abysmal. I give this a negative 10 out of 10. Honestly. Yeah. I think this is not up to par with the amazing brand that is Ferrari, because we give a lot of to Ferrari on this podcast, but let's call it a spade a spade. Ferrari is the most iconic Formula One team of all time. It can't be denied. But yeah, I'm sorry, this doesn't do the team justice. And lastly, what are those damn ridges on the shark fin? What is that?
Yeah, that is kind of weird. You know, when I first saw that in an image, I thought it was a distortion of the image. And I was like, what is that? And then I was like, I saw the video and I was like, oh, wait a second. No, that's real.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me kind of take a completely different approach, and not for sakes of being contrarian, but that bottom black it just meshes really well with the aggressive kind of feel of the car, right?
Totally agree. It's sick as
and
awesome.
I think that their direction with the white could have been a good idea if they do it in a different, if they do like half slanted like they used to do in the past, right? Like if you take that white, right? Take that white, make it black, and do a color inversion on the logos. Like imagine that Zen logo being white, that HP logo being say white with red letters. Like, let's just say you can negotiate color inversions with the sponsors on the white part. Imagine the white part being black. That is a freaking Darth Vader spaceship right there.
If it was black, dude, I would love it. I think it would look so
So I think I'm covering the white part. Just do this little exercise with me and cover the white part with your finger. It's a sick car right there. That's a freaking sick car.
Dude, I totally agree. I totally agree.
I think just because of, and I am obviously blurring the uniforms. The white does not look good on the uniforms.
It looks so bad.
It's terrible on the uniforms. Does it look as terrible in the car? I don't think it looks as terrible because of the direction that they wanted to take. And I think that maybe will progress onto something better towards the end of the year and maybe next year. Let's go slanted white or something like that. That's why I will give it a 5.5 out of 10.
You know what they should do? And I respect, honestly, Alex, I thought you were going to come in and be like, this is the best livery ever. And I'm glad you didn't, because I didn't want to have this argument. But what I will say, what would be really dope, just given the feedback from the general populace on how much they have disdain for the white on the livery, it would be cool at some point if Ferrari decided at any one of the races to do a special livery and say, you know what, let's change the white to black and see what that looks like. Because I agree with you.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so close to being
so close.
An 8.5 or 9
from, dude. If it was black, if it's black, that's a 10 out of 10 for me, baby. Yeah, I think that would be the coolest looking livery. Like, we were close.
Yeah, close. So close.
Anyway, all right. I think, what do we have? One more left?
Yeah.
I don't think there's, first of all, look at my colors behind me, baby.
Yes.
Here is what I will say about Alpine. Alpine going to do Alpine things. They're going to go, listen, we got blue, we got pink. There's nothing else we have to do. We're going to do the same we always do. It's going to look as cool as it always does, and we're going to move the F on. I think right now they're more concerned about trying to get Christian Horner to shell out a bunch of money to buy a stake in the team where they don't really care about the livery. I think, to me, the Alpine, and this is kind of the flashiness of the blue and the pink. Blue is one of my favorite colors. Pink's my daughter's favorite color. So, like, those two colors blended together, I think always naturally look kind of cool. Yeah. I think them just not doing anything and not really changing the scheme up much, other than I think some sponsorships changed. I'm like, yeah, it's Alpine doing Alpine things, and it looks great. It looks as cool as it always does on track, but guess what? It's going to look cool in the back of the pack as it always does. So we'll see him just taking up the rear in blue and pink, and we'll all be like, cool, that's Alpine. Real nondescript for me. I wasn't looking for any changes with Alpine. I wasn't looking for anything crazy. As a matter of fact, my anticipation for the reveal was going to be, it's going to probably look very similar as it has in the last 10 years. There's not going to be, if there's differences, they'll be subtle. I always like the look of the livery, so I gave this a firm 7 out of 10.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to get too much into it. I think Alpine is a perfect example of why following a brand book is important in marketing. I love this livery, even though it's identical, basically, to the livery last year. I think they do a great job mixing in their primary colors. I think the sponsor allocation is great as well. Honestly, I have no complaints about this livery. I'm going to give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Love it. AB, here comes our contrarian.
No, honestly, I can't argue. I can't argue that. Would I have loved to see an inversion? Like, imagine that same exact thing, but imagine the base being hot pink and the accents being that like glossy blue. I think I would have loved that. I like the direction of kind of leaning more towards like that, bottle gloss, royal blue rather than like a baby blue. But I want to kind of see a Force India throwback kind of.
Oh, that'd be dope.
That would be sweet.
Feel where you have the base be hot pink. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's not bad. It's what you would expect. They didn't drop the ball, but I think they could have capitalized on it. Like if you see the car from the front, a little bit of aerial front, you'll see a lot more pink, and I think it looks cooler. That being said, so just 7 out of 10. Just okay.
Yeah, the pink rush up through the halo, definitely a little bit more contrasting than what we see in this picture. I do think an inversion would be cool, and it'd be interesting to see because I think they've done it in the past where they do a special livery that highlights the pink more than the blue. And I think that would look sweet, especially more in the gloss nature. I think would look really, really, really sharp. So hopefully they do something like that this year simply because they haven't changed the car much. Hopefully there's some sort of anticipation for a special livery that may deliver that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. I think the inversion would be dope as hell.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty sweet. And that was the last one that we have, boys. Wrapped up the first part of the livery reveals. This is a fun episode. It was great to be back. I'm going to go try to shovel my way out of what seems like mountains of freaking snow. And I was thinking about, I was like, well, I don't have to go anywhere. And then I was like, wait a second, all this shit that I have coming delivered to my house in the next 3 days is monumental. I was like, whatever poor drivers, I'm going to have to at least make some way in my driveway. But this was a lot of fun. Boys, thanks as always. And we'll see you all. This was episode 6, wrap up episode 6. And hopefully next week we'll have you back on an episode 7.
Looking forward to it.
Take it easy, boys.
See you, everyone.
Peace.
Lotus, 72. Lotus,